And Prince George he's obviously going to be king one day, but we understand that the royal family is being really clear and really deliberate in the way that he's being introduced to his role. That's sensible, isn't it?
Well, definitely. Again, you're seeing him. We saw him very, very recently taking a tour of Eton School that Prince William attended. Very interesting to see how that transition will take place. And I think it will be very, very slowly, because we saw the children at the Fairfield Tattoo. We've seen them out and about a lot more over the last few months with the family, introducing them to sort of the royal role. What does it take to go to these royal engagements? However, it will be a very, very slow transition, I'm sure, because Prince William and Prince Harry, I think that they've spoken very, very openly about how they were brought up sort of within the royal bubble, and that's certainly what William and Kate want to do differently from their family. They've moved to Windsor. They have a lot more of a family affair there, and it's not necessarily all about the business of monarchy, because that will come, and the children need to, be able to spread their wings, I think, in just being children and trying to live a normal life, because the business of monarchy will take care of itself one day.
Now, on the back of royal attendances, obviously at the RAF base and at Wimbledon, it's been reported that the royals are busier than usual this summer. Why is that?
Well, I think certainly we've had a transitional period, because you look at the period of time that we've had since the Queen's Jubilee, then her passing into the coronation, and the talk at Buckingham Palace is one of transition. Now, certainly the royals want to hit the ground running, I suppose, next year. They're going to have a bit of a time off over the summer, but that's something that we're definitely looking forward to. More engagements, more royal tours, and hopefully we'll get down under to see you guys as well, because that would be fantastic.
And do you think that, obviously us seeing more of the younger royals, is that part of the leaning out and the modernising of the royal family that we've spoken so much about?
Yes, certainly, I think so. I mean, they are the future. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to say that, but they are the ones that are going to be carrying the monarchy forward into the modern world. And certainly, when you look at who is left, it's a very, very slimmed down version now, isn't it? The king has got his wish by rather accident rather than design, and certainly without Harry and Meghan, without sort of other key players in the past, such as Prince Andrew, that have obviously left either in disgrace or by their own volition, then it's something that they need to think about. They need to think about how the children will be sort of brought in this transitional period, and I think there's a lot to look forward to anyway.
Now, while we've been talking about Wimbledon, apparently the Princess Royal and the late Queen rarely went to the tennis. Why is that?
Well, it's interesting. I've seen these reports recently. I mean, the Queen only went 4 times, can you believe it, to Wimbledon? I mean, it's only down the road in South London. Apparently, Princess Anne said it was cauldron-like. She didn't like the atmosphere of Wimbledon. Now, listen, I've been lucky enough to go a few times, and it's such an amazing sporting event. It's great that the Princess of Wales is the patron of the Lawn Tennis Association, because we've seen how fantastically involved she is. You saw her playing tennis with Roger Federer earlier to sort of really give the championships a real sort of oomph, because we've been looking forward to them, and they've been fantastic over the last couple of weeks. So listen, I think the Royals were missing out on that one, because what a fantastic occasion it has been over the years.
Great reporting from the Mirror. I really enjoyed those this week. Now, last week, President Joe Biden had an audience with the King at Windsor Castle. We're obviously suckers for a bit of pomp and circumstance here at the Royal Report. Let's have a quick look. The King is often criticised in Britain for being old, but next to the President, he looks positively virile.
Well, I do a lot of engagements with the King, and he certainly sort of doesn't belie his 74 years. I mean, he's pretty sprightly. He still gets all around his estates, loves his gardening, still keeps pretty fit. And I think that Joe Biden has certainly been criticised in the past, hasn't he? But what I found when we've seen these two guys sort of greeting each other, there was a huge warmth between them. And certainly Britain rolled out the red carpet. Joe Biden was at number 10 very briefly and then came to Windsor to see that fantastic Guards parade that you just saw there. And looking, talking about the warmth, there was certainly a real characteristics between these two men. They're certainly of a certain age. They both have been fighting for climate change, and they've definitely got a lot in common. And you can see that they certainly enjoy each other's company.
Now, lastly, unlike Prince Philip, Queen Camilla isn't going to receive funding from Parliament. Can you explain the background to this?
Well, certainly, this has emerged that the King has essentially told Parliament that the Queen will not be receiving an annuity from the government. And this was when Prince Philip was with us. He was receiving about £360,000. I think that's about $500,000 per year to run his personal affairs. Now, this was outside the sovereign grant, which is obviously the money that is given to the royal family to run the business of the firm. Now, the fact that Camilla will not be taking this money, I think this is a fantastic thing because we're all living in a sort of cost of living crisis. Criticism from the royal family very recently with the royal finances, over £100 million they're costing us once more. You know, listen, this all boils down to about $2 per person here in the UK, and I think that's pretty good value for money. Now, the Queen will take the running of her offices from the King's personal finances, so you know they're saving us a few bob. So who can argue with that?
Russell Myers, thank you as always for your time. We'll speak shortly.
Thanks, Caroline. My pleasure.